You're listening to Spotlight on Business on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Once again, here's your host, Laura Smith.
Welcome back to Coffee Talk. This edition is the August. Hard to imagine how quickly this summer has gone by that we're already talking about August flavors, but we are, and the person who has all the honors of all of that is the one and only Regina Troyer of Refinery Coffee Company in Goshen. Regina, so we talked a lot about the fair. It was another humongous success for you and your company. We're so grateful because people have discovered you. And honestly, I hear all the time, they're like, it's the best coffee that we've ever had. We won't buy any other coffee. Now, you get very spoiled when you have Refinery Coffee Company coffee. And then you just... Nothing else matches. Nothing else matches up.
Thank you. We like to say we'll make a coffee snob out of you when you come into our shop.
I like that.
Because I do believe that, life is too short for bad coffee, and you might as well drink the best. I want to say something. Last week at that event we were at was phenomenal with your listeners again. Thank you for doing such a great job promoting us, because I met some very lovely people that were listeners that had never tried our coffee.
Are you serious?
Yeah, lots of people. And I just appreciate you and John promoting us so well. And it's a really great fit for our business. And I'm a small business owner, and I think this is my third year advertising with you, and I appreciate it very much.
Well, people don't know that you're advertising with us. They just think that we're kind of like we never stop talking about the Refinery Coffee Company. But the fact is, it is second nature. I think even if you weren't advertising with us, I'd still be talking about it every morning because I drink it every morning, and it's what gets me through those early mornings on the air. And John has grown to love you too. And, it's just, there's such a richness to it. You really remind us all about how important small businesses are.
Yes.
To not only our community, but the entire country and the world. And you personify what that means. You're a local person who has put their heart, their soul, their passion, and their expertise into something. And, what it is it just is, it's the highest and best you can get in a category. And to be able to do that, and you do it with such a humble spirit, a beautiful heart, and so much skill that, we feel blessed to be able to talk about it because, because our listeners are such quality people. When we send them to the Refinery Coffee Company, we know that we're sending them to the best place. Like, we feel good about that. And you've made that all possible. And I know it sounds silly. It's just coffee. But, coffee is really important to people.
Coffee is community. And I really believe it brings people together in so many different aspects. And I was just reflecting about that this morning. Like, I'm grateful to be a part of something that is so diverse and so many different age groups of people that consume coffee. If you think about it, it's college kids, which I've got one leaving for college this month. And I just think about, I've got grandparents and elderly people that come in, soccer moms, business owners, men. I mean, the whole gamut of it. And then coffee has so many different components to it, so many different ways to brew it and different ways to enjoy it. So,
and you're a master of it all. And when I say that, I'm not exaggerating. I mean, you really have all the knowledge behind not only the beans, but the farms and the way they're run. And then when you come back here, the machines and everything that you use and the way you use it, you have to really understand what you're doing. It's a science and an art. We talk about that all the time. But now I love that you're expanding into this place that is going to be incredibly customer friendly.
Yes, I want it to be.
Space. Yeah.
That's my goal. And I love to teach. I love sharing with people tips on how to brew better at home. I think for my shop, that's probably one of my goals is to teach people. And I get people every week that come in that will say, I bought an espresso machine and I haven't used it. I feel scared to even try. I mean, how do I begin? So that's something we want to help you with. And also just grinding correctly. Like I was talking to people at the fair about this because we have, I would say about half of our customers have us grind their coffee and the other half are into grinding their own. I'm just going to say it again. Invest in a burr grinder and not a blade. Burr grinder is B-U-R-R. A burr grinder crushes your bean and a blade chops it. So there's a different science in the way that your coffee is ground. and it makes a big difference in the taste in your cup if it's not consistent. So if you've got a blade and it's spinning and you're going to have some in there that is going to still be like almost a whole bean and some that's very fine, then you pour that in your little brew basket and your coffee's not going to taste right. So invest in a good grinder. If you're going to invest in specialty coffee, it's worth having a good grinder.
So when people come to your store, though, at the Refinery Coffee Company in Goshen, are you grinding it with a burr grinder when they ask for it ground?
Yes. Oh, yes. And our grinders are very precise. We have about 10 settings on it. So if you come in and you tell me, I want to make this in a mocha pot on the stove, I'm going to know to go very fine, like sand. And I'm getting people coming in for espresso, they don't have a grinder yet. And especially if you have an espresso machine, buy a grinder to go with your machine because your espresso shots will not be as good if you're not dialing in your grind every day. So yeah, definitely. And we can go from very fine to very coarse. French press is obviously very coarse, and also cold brew. If you're cold brewing your own coffee, we would want to go very coarse on that. And I will just tell you too, sometimes your grind can also make your coffee not taste like, sometimes it's sour. So sour to me is underdeveloped. So that means maybe you need to adjust your brew time. If you're doing a pour over, maybe adjust that. I would go a little bit finer on the grind because it probably brewed too fast. So the finer the grind, the slower the water steeps through. Kind of like sand and rocks is how I always describe it to people. So if you want it to come through faster, you're going to go a little coarser. So sometimes what I like to do is use a little bit more grounds, but grind it coarser so you get more of a full-bodied flavor without a lot of aftertaste. I don't want any bitterness in the cup when I'm brewing coffee. So that can be tweaked, and that's just your own taste. And the ratio that I always tell people to start with is 2 tablespoons of grounds to 10 ounces of water. Another competitor of mine would say 6 ounces of water, but I feel like that's a little too strong for the average coffee drinker. Okay. So start with that. And if you want it stronger, then adjust. Every coffee pot has different sizes on it for their cups. Use a measuring cup for your water when you first begin. So I literally use my little water measure, like my 2-cup, those glass measuring things that you use for baking. I use that to measure my water. So if I was doing 32 ounces of water, I would be putting in there probably 6 to 7 tablespoons of coffee.
Okay.
So
be a scientist.
Be meticulous, because some people just guess. They're guessing. They're putting, I use like 3 scoops. Well, I'm like, what kind of scoop are you using? And then they get confused because they're like, my coffee pot says it's 8 cups or it's 12 cups. And I'm like, certain ones have larger cup sizes on them. So just measure the water and start with that ratio. So let's start with 32 ounces of water, 6 to 7 tablespoons of grounds.
Again, that's what I'm talking about. She knows everything there is to know. And I know we have a couple minutes left.
Yeah. I want to give a quick update on the Salute blend. By the way, what a phenomenal turnout we had in July for that. Loved it. And I am going to tell our listeners, we are going to keep it on our shelf because it was such a good seller.
Explain it to people who are hearing about this for the
So we created a blend for the 493rd Squadron in the Air Force, and we are shipping them coffee. And in fact, I just messaged the gentleman this morning or last night regarding coffee and how much they're needing and if they've used up everything we sent them. The coffee arrived about 10 days after we shipped it, and I did get an update from him like last week.
Overseas,
undisclosed
location.
He sent me a couple photos of the coffee in the tent, like where their little brewer is, and it was so rewarding. And one of his comrades, he showed him like drinking a cup, and it was just very thrilling. And
let's remind people that this young man from the Air Force reached out to you because he's originally from Goshen, and he said, he begged you, could you please send us coffee because we're putting in really long days over here and we just could use some of your amazing coffee. And so you did. You answered the call.
I did. And his sister works at our company, and she didn't know he was going to reach out. And I just absolutely loved being able to share that with them. And
so what did you do exactly? You sent them the coffee. Did anybody come in and buy your Salute blend?
Yes.
And then they put it in the box?
Not yet.
Okay.
So that is something that we're working on right now.
Okay.
And I would say check back with us over the next week.
Okay.
When they come in, we are going to start having people buy a pound and sign the back of the bag if they'd like to.
How wonderful.
So they can send a little message to the guys serving on the front line and just help them and encourage them, because they're doing 12-hour days, 7 days a week. That's a lot.
7 days a week.
Yeah.
This is amazing. It's called the Salute blend.
Yes.
And of course, Regina came up with this masterful idea based on the reach out she had from someone who is in the Air Force. I think it is tremendous. And I'm so grateful that our wonderful listeners, they always answer the call.
They
do. So they came to the Refinery Coffee Company on West Wilden Avenue in Goshen, and they wanted to be a part of that too. So I'm so excited to hear that. Well, my dear, is there anything else we need to know for the month of August at the Refinery Coffee
One more
Company?
thing for September, we're bringing back, I have a Costa Rican red honey that a lot of people have been asking for, and I just secured another bag. So it will be available in September. It's phenomenal. It's a very rich medium roast, lots of caffeine in it. It's a very special coffee. So it'll be limited edition. I have about 100
Costa
pounds
Rican, you said?
Costa Rican red honey, and that's where they do the honey process on the bean.
Aha.
So,
oh, my gosh. We need another hour just to talk about the honey press.
Yes.
It's also exciting.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
August 27th, pumpkin spice hits the shelf.
Are you
for
kidding
fall.
me?
No, it's coming.
Do not rush the fall. Do not rush it. Too early for pumpkin.
It's coming.
Well, I guess you're doing it because people want their pumpkin spice no matter what the season.
Yes, it's true.
So it's coming in on the 27th?
Yep, Wednesday.
Wow. Well, the Refinery Coffee Company is always open Wednesday through Saturday?
Yes, right now, Wednesday through Saturday, 9 to 5, and Saturdays, 9 to 2.
Wonderful stuff. And soon you'll be able to experience the brand new expanded space of the Refinery Coffee Company. But until then, you can still get it, just like you always do, on West Wilden Avenue in Goshen, across from Martin's, or online at therefinerycafe.com. Thank you, my dear friend. Wonderful to have you.
So good to be here.
Yes, thank you, too. This has been your August edition of Coffee Talk. See you next time. I'm Laura Smith.
If you missed any part of today's show, log on to 953mnc.com and look for the Spotlight on Business podcast. Be sure to tune in again next Sunday afternoon at 4:30 for Spotlight on Business on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Podcasts by Federated Media.